Hello, welcome back to another video concerning the admin commands on Roblox. In the previous video, we discussed how to make basic admin command kill. Now, in this video, I'm going to discuss on how to make it, specific, only to be used by certain people. So this is where we pretty much left off. I made a certain amount of changes in testing. Before we move on, I just want to say as of right now, the Roblox chat event is broken on Roblox Studio. So this means that we will have to be, going into online mode and testing it. But I can assure you that I've tested this consistently over and over, and everything I've given you here should definitely work unless they did something else and broke another one of their services. Anyways, I explained everything here. It's all in the other video, except maybe this p calling, which is basically kind of like fake threading. It wraps your code in a error handler that prevents your entire script from breaking, which is very useful in certain cases, but I can make another video discussing that. Just for those of you who are curious what the heck this is, you don't really need it, but it protects your script. Anyways, moving on to this line 16. If you want me to zoom in here, I can. Just give me 1 second. Anyways, so on line 16, you can see if message substring, the substring of the message, starting from 2 to 5 lower is equal to kill, and message substring of message 6 is equal to white space. That is a white space. And then we're going to execute some more statements. Now, in the previous video, I was going to talk about, defining a proper spacer kind of thing. Because before you could like put any character in the middle of your command, between your command and the person you want to execute the command on, and it would have some glitches. This prevents that. But let's moving on. If message substring, the substring of the message 1 to 1 is equal to prefix, which is this colon, we're going to move on. We're basically saying if this command after this prefix is kill, and we can write it however we wanted. We can put it all in capital letters and it would still work. And there is definitely a space, a single white space, that's directly after this kill command. Then we're moving on. We have a little bit of code here called find player. It calls this function, and this function will receive this parameter, which is obviously name, because I couldn't write name because name is actually a global variable in Lua, or Roblox Lua. So now that's cleared up. Alright, so now we're going to go over to a for loop, which I've declared here. I made it simple as possible. For index, which is treating the string as an array. And you can read up on that by Googling it, what an array is. And for index object. So we're trying to get the index and also the object of each character in the string array. And now we're saying in pairs because we want this and this to be paired. For for the service players, which is referenced here, this is how you get the players service. And the get players is a function you can call to retrieve a list or an array of players, objects that are players. So for loop it, for each iteration, it will check if the object, which is each player in this list, if their name from their starting character to the length of the person we are trying to find, and you want that in lowercase so that way capitalization does not matter. It makes saying the command easier. If it's equal to our person that we're trying to find, if that is the case, then it will return the object of the player, not this, but this. And what else? For object data name, it also means that you can type short names. Like if your person is named player, you can type in play, and it can find the person if you just type in half of their name, which makes it even easier. Otherwise, if this for loop doesn't find anything, it's just gonna return false at the end of this function. So now it returns it, it gets stored, and it returns a Boolean type object or value and puts it into a new variable that we've created called found. And this found can either be true or false. Now, in this statement, after moving on with this function right here, it will check if found, then, which that it means if found is equal to true. This is just a shorter way of checking Boolean values. If that is the case, if it's true, we're going to just p-call the function, wrap it in an error handler. This is not really you don't really have to add this in, but after that it basically just executes this line of code. It will now try and kill this person because we have them. If it returns true, or well, in this case, object, anything that's not false or zero is considered true. So the fact that it returns an object, that means it's true. That's how Boolean works, and or just how logic works. So that way it returns the object, which is the player that we are looking for. Now we can just go over and try to find their character because we only have their player. So we're going to try and find their character. And now we're going to call a break joints function. It's a built-in Roblox Lua function that breaks the joints of characters or models. And basically, for a player, it will kill them. And then that's it. That's our simple command function. Now, this little thing right here, I also explained in the last script, it just connects the player to this function, allows him to chat. Now, to create specific admin lists, let me just pop open up my script here. You'll notice significant differences, but not that much. First of all, in line 2 you have local admins is equal to #877 and player 1. This is my name right here, by the way. So, now, if we go down to connect chat, we have this statement here above the statement. And it says if is admin player. We're passing this argument player, which is our speaker, which is us, the speaker, and we're trying to basically trying to get a confirmation that this person is part of our admin list, and this is a function, obviously. So we're gonna go up, back up. We've made this little function here, easy, simple to use. So now admins, remember this? I said this was a list, an array. We can iterate through it using the for loop, and we're gonna do it in pairs. Index object in pairs of this admin list. We want to iterate it, and for each iteration, each time it goes around in the loop until it ends, until it comes to the end of the list, if the object lower, because these are strings, the lowercase versions of these strings, to make sure, it's because there's a capital letter, it basically just lowercase is this, just a capital P, lowercase p, and it compares it to the player's name, which we passed here. Remember, we passed our speaker's name. So if this actually does match the letter for letter, then it will return true. If it finds nothing, then it returns false. This is basic Boolean right here as well. So now, if it's true, it will do all that stuff we talked about previously and execute it. And that's how you make your admin list. Admin list specific commands. kill. Now, if you want to do groups, you can go over to, or well, if you want to do IDs mixed with strings, I can show you that as well. Basically, you just have to use the built-in toNumber function in Lua and call it with a with our with the object in the for loop. Notice that all we have is an integer here, which is my player ID instead of my name. So now this also works. If you know your user ID, you can just put your user ID in there instead of your name, and it will check that. First, it will say if this object is a number, then it will check to see if the object is equal to the player's user ID, which is the user ID of the player. Each player has their own significant user ID. If that's true, then you know it returns true. Else, if this is not the case, then it's going to go over to this default case. And in this certain scenario, this only has a true or falsy type of case. Truthy and falsy. So we can get away with this. We don't have to use anything else. We could just do else. If this object, if their names match up, then we return true. And otherwise return false. So now as admin works. As for groups, I'll just show you a little bit of how this works. Each player object comes equipped with this built-in function in Roblox Lua only called isInGroup, and it accepts only one parameter called the group ID. So just copy and paste your group ID in there. You no longer need this, but you could make a little bit of for looping here. Maybe you want to add multiple groups. Who knows? Let's change that. Not bad. So if they're in this specific group, return true. Otherwise, return false. And that's it. If you test this now, and I currently have the group one working, that's running, and I'm currently in that group amongst like a couple other people, and I just type in kill Ash. There you go, I died. And it works perfectly fine, just the same as the other video, except we now have like specifications you can add to it, like admin lists, group, certain groups you have to be in. And if I type kill underscore Ash, it's not going to work. If I type kill Ash, that's still not going to work. I have to type kill Ash, Ash 877. Now if I tried kill, or well, if I did this, I'll notice how I capitalize some of the letters, and it still works no matter what capitalization they put. So if I put SH877, whoops, still works. See, that way it makes it easier to find the player without having to capitalize any letters that they may have in their name. Maybe it's a complicated name, so you could just do A. If the person is the only one in the game that has the name with A in the beginning, you can easily kill them. And that's it for now. In the next video, I can show you guys how to make lists. Well, not a list. How to check to see if someone's in a group. It's really easy, but kind of complicated. And that's that. Thank you guys for watching. And I'll see you in the next video. Make sure to tune in for our live streams. We do streaming sometimes. Have a great day.